episode of ADHD. I am your host, Rob.
And I am your other host, Steve. What up, y'all?
What up, everybody? Today we are going to talk about one of the most chaotic, crazy, insane, any other adjective that you want to throw in there, go for it, creator of our generation.
I don't know. Those are some really good things for this person because as you probably saw from today's episode, as you logged into wherever you listen to us, i.e. on either Apple or Spotify, because we're still not up on Amazon for some reason.
They're very rude.
We are talking about Alex Hirsch, who is crazy, chaotic, lovable, and today's episode is the Alex Hirsch Love Fest, aka Alex Hirsch, please find us because we want to give you a hug.
I know you would. Alex Hirsch would be that kind of person to be like, here's some random obscure podcast. Let's find him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 100% expecting to get like a DM from him just being like, take down the episode or Bill Cipher will come find you.
Yeah, right, seriously. But today is, like Steve mentioned, this is the Bill, not the Bill Cipher Love Fest. That's a completely different topic. The Alex Hirsch Love Fest.
You want to make a deal?
No deals here. So basically, I kind of just, for those of you who don't know Alex Hirsch outside of Gravity Falls, I want to give you some context and background because you probably heard of him even before you've watched Gravity Falls and knew what that show even was.
Oh, please do, because as much as I love Gravity Falls and I've gotten into knowing who Alex Hirsch is, I still don't know a lot about his early stuff.
All right, cool. So I got some early stuff for you to dive into here. Alex Hirsch, if you remember the show Fish Hooks, which was another Disney staple for a while during the early 2000s, he voiced Clemantha in that show, which a lot of people still feel is like the best character on that show just because of how dynamic and insane that she was. But you can already hear like the distinctive style of Alex already coming into play during this time, and it was just really kind of interesting to hear that.
Yeah, no, that is a name I have not heard in a very long time. Like Fish Hooks, that came out just like after I stopped watching some Disney shows because like, oh, I'm too cool for that stuff.
I'm too cool. I'm too old. I'm too hip.
I'm gonna watch Cartoon Network because it's better. And it was before they came out with Disney XD, so like there was no teen stuff. It was like either Real Kitty or like stuff that I had seen a million times before.
Right, and speaking of stuff that you've probably watched before and didn't even process that he was involved in the show, me and my wife joke about this show all the time. I kind of call this like the launch point of our age of animation, not our age, but like the new age of animation. This show, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, which was, if you guys, anybody out there remembers this show, let us know what one of your favorite moments in that episode, what that show was.
So creepy.
It's such a creepy, disjointed, surreal kind of fun show starring this young lad Flapjack trying to go on adventures, be a pirate, be this kind of trendsetter around the world, make these adventures, go find Candied Island with Captain Knuckles, and it's just a kind of wildly surreal show. And
it's basically like the American version of a very watered down like One Piece. It's like a young kid just wants to go out.
My God, that's a comparison. But
I'm going to catch so much flack for this from everybody.
Can you repeat this statement for me? You're saying that the show The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack
is a watered down, not as serious, Americanized version of One Piece without like.
Could you imagine Flapjack with some gum fruit though?
No, I was thinking of him getting like the flower fruit powers where he just has all of the arms spreading from everywhere like Robin.
Oh my God. What the?
And Knuckles just kind of being like Zoro and just being like, I'm not going to use any devil fruit.
Why did that turn out to be Mr. Krabs more than Knuckles? But either way, I get what you're saying.
They have similar voices in my brain.
They might be similar voice actor, same voice actor. I'm not sure. If we had a research department, I would do that. But
I was like, keep talking. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Okay, so keep talking. I'm talking. No, Seriously, the Marvelous
You're an
Misadventures Flapjack was one of those shows that, if you guys didn't know what it was about, it was one of those shows that actually kind of launched a lot of the shows that the contemporary cartoonists out there watch nowadays. So Alex Hirsch worked on that show for Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, right? J.G. Quintel, the guy who went on to create regular show, worked on that show. He was a showrunner on that. He did a lot of stuff on Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Rebecca Sugar, the person who went on to create Steven Universe, also worked on the show very heavily, even though if you go and look it up on IMDb, you're not going to find it
No,
because
it
she's
was not the same
uncredited.
voice actor.
They're not the same voice actor,
No,
okay?
the voice actor, as you know from Mr. Krabs, is
It's
Clancy Brown.
right.
Phenomenal actor, phenomenal voice actor. Pops up in the most random things. Absolutely love him. No, the person who voiced Captain Knuckles was Brian Doyle Murray.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, back on my original point here because, ADD, we like to scatter around for our thoughts here.
Whee!
So Flapjack came out, and it's kind of this golden era for a lot of these showrunners that happen to all be working at the same time on the same show. So I already talked about Alex Hirsch being there, J.G. Quintel being there, Rebecca Sugar being there, Ken Ward was there,
Yep.
went on to make Adventure Time, like the golden age of a lot of the animation that contemporary audiences are watching. I guarantee you probably came out of that Thoroughfan Orin beautifully strange cartoon.
Oh yeah, no,
Like, it
and
was-
everything about it is absolutely wonderful. Like you look back at that show, and don't worry, Alex, we're gonna get to your love fest. We're gonna start talking about your work soon, but we just want to talk a little bit from where you're coming from. Yeah, no, that show just kind of scratched the weird itch that everybody wanted because you were either like
Oh, for sure, yeah.
you were either watching that show, or later on you were watching Chowder, and that's how you got your weirdness.
Yeah,
it was either from Flapjack or from Chowder.
Yeah, but either way, that's the weird itch that we were craving at that point in the world, right? And I feel like a lot of the time with some of these cartoons, even like the story behind Courage the Cowardly Dog was like a show meant to push fear in kids, right?
Oh,
to
yeah.
see just how much you can get away with on a kid's cartoon show, to see how fearful you can get. We got to the point in that time period when, again, Chowder and Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and Clarence, where it's just like, let's push the weird. Let's keep things weird. They seem to be buying this
Beach
stuff.
City weird.
Keep Beach City weird. Absolutely. Keep this podcast weird. Keep life weird. Life is better when it's weird.
To quote one of my favorite things from the anime Outlaw Star, nothing good ever came out with normal people.
No. Normal people are just no fun.
Yeah, unless you're, as we're gonna talk about him, Tad Strange. Tad Strange is a good guy.
Tad Strange is a good guy. This episode may forever scar Tad Strange.
Oh, this made scar Tad Strange.
So the funny thing, just to mention before we really get into Alex Hirsch and the Gravity Falls Love Fest and just everything that's come out of that show and everything that it's kind of produced over the couple, not oh my god, 10 years at this point.
Yeah, it's over a decade now. It seems
Which
like.
is really crazy to kind of think about, but it is at that point. But in the beginning, Alex Hirsch had a hard time getting into the animation industry, just like anybody else. He was putting out shorts, he was putting out storyboards, and it kind of just felt like, and he's said it in interviews before, like he was dragging through the mud, and then all of a sudden, one of his buddies asked him for help on a show. It got picked up. Disney decided, hey, we really like what you're doing on these shows. Let's see if we can pitch a show. And I forget the story now or where I heard the story from.
I was just about to get on that because I think Alex Hirsch did this on another podcast or was like doing a TikTok video or something like that, where he was basically like, yeah, he had a contest with him and a couple other friends where they had to legitimately come up with 5 pilots a day.
Which I had a hard enough time writing a pilot, let alone 5 pilots in a day.
Yeah.
No, that's insane. But these guys managed to keep at it, and the end result was
it took them. I think it was, and I think he had said it was like 16 days that they had done this straight, and on the 16th day there was one person who couldn't, or it might have been him who couldn't come up with
It was him who couldn't come up with another
Yeah,
idea.
he couldn't come
So
up
he
with
had to
another
come up
idea.
with a full
So
treatment.
yeah, he came up with a full pilot episode and had to pitch it to somebody, and he pitched it to Disney, and they were just like, okay.
On the 16th day, Bill Cipher was born.
No, Bill Cipher came in later on,
Yeah,
but that
this
that
is
that
true. This is true. So Gravity Falls.
oh my
It's the
god.
bedmark. It's the trademark show. It's the show that everybody knows was made by Alex Hirsch, right? It
Oh yeah,
is the show, and
that is like
it brought out the weirdos. It kept the weirdos together. The conspiracy theorists, the over glittery people, everybody in between was involved. And
oh
Gravity
yeah no
Falls was probably culturally speaking one of the more impactful shows, at least in the Northern America. I would say, like
yeah
North
no
America
I
was.
mean I'm doing another rewatch of Gravity Falls right now, and I'm almost done with them on the last 4 episodes, Weird Mageddon. And I was watching these at work one day, and one of my coworkers was like, "Is this Gravity Falls?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh my god, I loved this show." I'm like, "Well, we're gonna be watching it for the day."
Like it's great. Gravity Falls was definitely one of those, and it brings a lot of people together. It made honestly, again, it was one of the best shows to come out during this time. It was a instant sensation. People were hooked, even at the shorts and the intros to it. Of uh, uh, Dipper and Mabel going up to the door, going like, "Oh, there's a monster in there. Oh, come on, no, there's not. Open up the door. Don't open up the door." Ah! And it's just like everybody was so amused. Everybody was so ready to go for this. So going back into just how gripped the audience was right away, even at the shorts and like in the beginning of the show, how people were trying to pick out the cipher codes, trying to figure them out because Alex Hirsch tapped into his childhood self. And I feel like it's always the best way to get best creative work. And I say that as a teacher too. You got to pull from your experiences. Otherwise, it's not going to feel genuine. It's not going to feel authentic. There was nothing about Gravity Falls that didn't feel genuine and authentic.
Oh, 100%. Like,
You could tell that sibling relationship definitely from Alex and his sister, and I'm forgetting her name right now. I'm just sorry about that, but um,
don't worry, Alex will come. He'll come after us for that, and just be like, "How did you not know my sister's name?"
how did you not know it off the top of your head? How did you not research this, bro? It's not like you have a full-time job, you dummy.
Oh yeah, no, Alex is gonna come down hard on us. And Alex, I really do hope that you find this episode, because we would love to talk with you, and I would love to give you a hug.
But like you agree though, right? Like especially during the beginning of that show when it was first really kind of starting to launch and starting to get the episodes out, there were so many people that just hopped on those cipher codes right away,
Oh,
trying to figure out
100%.
what the hell was going on. And then you have a character like Mabel that's just like completely different. And that relationship felt so real because it was so real.
Yeah, like that was him and his sister just enjoying life and just talking about some of the real stuff and being weird. Um, should we get into an overview of what Gravity
Yeah,
Falls
just in
is,
case.
just
So
for those
just
who don't know what it
yeah,
is?
for those who live under a rock and have never watched this, so go ahead, Steve. Talk about kind of like the general arc of what Gravity Falls is intended to be.
So Gravity Falls, the best way that I like to describe it to people who don't know what it is it's the show Supernatural for kids, but not for kids. It's about these two siblings who are twins that get shipped off in the summertime up to Gravity Falls, Oregon, right?
Yep.
To spend the summer with their grunkle Stan. Or-
Ariel Hirsch, sister. That's who Mabel's based off of. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I didn't want Alex to come back at me.
That's fine. If we didn't put his sister's name in, maybe he would have come at us. Now he won't. Thanks.
But he'll come. It's Bill. Bill will come through.
He does. He always does.
The creep.
So it's these two siblings who are twins that get shipped up to Gravity Falls, Oregon, and they're Dipper and Mabel, and it's their summer of just hijinks and antics that are happening, of the supernatural, weird, just batshit crazy things that are happening.
From fighting a video game character multiple times
to having to deal with gnomes and almost becoming the gnome queen in episode 1,
and dealing with the infamous Mermando.
Oh, I always forget about the Mermando episode, and then when it comes up, I'm just like, it
It's Dipper's first kiss.
is Dipper's first kiss.
Blackmail.
Why didn't you just pour the water in my mouth or roll me into the water right there? It like there are so many good episodes in Gravity Falls, and so there is kind of like this overarching plot of something. There's something major weird going on, and it has to do with Stan, who at the time at the beginning of the show we know as Stanford Pines.
Can I just pull up the clip of Seuss explaining this to Wendy?
Maybe
Is that too long? Is that going to be a copyright issue?
that might be a copyright issue.
The Stan that we know.
Um, God, I love Seuss. And just the antics that happen at the shack. You have some ancillary characters that are just as phenomenal as the main characters, with the lovable handyman Seuss, who is, hey dudes, what's up? Everybody knows a Seuss. Everybody needs a Seuss in their life because he's just the most lovable guy ever.
And this is Seuss. That was a character that's based off of Alex Hirsch's roommate from college, actually. So
Oh,
it
that
was
I
like
didn't
a
know.
really good friend of his that he was just like he's one of the nicest, most sincere, sweetheartest people on the show. Like in my world, I have to include him, and
Um,
that's how he snuck his way in.
that's amazing. And then you have a Wendy Corduroy, who is this teenager older than Dipper. Dipper has a major crush on her from the beginning. And she is grows up in a family of lumberjacks, and she's the only girl. And just how much of like how awesome she is, and you can definitely see if you were like 12 years old at that time, you would just been like so enamored with her. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely. And again, if this is something that would interest you in watching this show, this is totally not a plug. This is not a sponsor, but it's all available on Disney Plus right now to go watch the whole 3 seasons and just.
technically, it's only
Oh, I'm
two
sorry. I keep
seasons.
doing that. Yeah, I
I
can't Weird McGinnon as its own season. I know it's not, but in
yeah,
my
no,
own
like
head, it's just its
what
own little mini arc.
once like a major character comes in, for like the second half of season 2, I consider that a brand new season because seasons back in the day used to be like 25 episodes long, not 8 or
10
10
or
or 12.
12, right? No, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's just something that's kind of an industry standard at this point, right? Everybody's kind of moving to that streaming network, that streaming
oh yeah,
platform, and
just
saying, "Hey, you can
quick
binge
quick
10
quick
episodes real
yeah.
quick, right? You don't have to think about missing out. You don't have to think about all of that stuff." But you're still dealing at the time where Gravity Falls was released, that you're still dealing with the battle of cable versus streaming, where it's
Yep.
become more predominant nowadays to just lean into the streaming because that's where they're going to get more of their views. However, if you know the animation industry right now, we're fighting as a industry to get more regulation on
Mm-hmm.
those streaming
Mm-hmm.
rates and get more residuals back for it, because kind of right now in terms of and I know this is not where we wanted to get to, but I just had to touch on it, legality speaking, right? Like this is kind of the moment in animation history that we need to step up right now and make sure that our people are getting taken care of, right? So like making sure those residual checks come out and make sure that there's an actual system to this, because right now it's kind of like the lawless the wild west out there. You get
Mm-hmm.
on there, you get your money, and you're done. You don't know what you're getting, you don't know how you're getting it, you don't know the pay rate, but you're getting your money.
Yeah. So going back to Gravity Falls.
Sorry.
That
Sorry.
No, you're good. You got to plug your actual being an animator and making sure that this gets brought out to the people who needs to
Between
hear it.
AI and streaming.
Ah! Ooh, that hurt my ears because I'm actually monitoring this on the headphones. Anyway, so going back to Gravity Falls, so you have this whole arching story that starts in the summer and ends in the summer. There are different characters that come in and stay, and just seeing how quirky this town is absolutely wonderful. And as the story progresses, you have villains come in with Gideon Gleeful, who's this little southern like Baptist kid
It's
who.
actually a very good description, but I've never thought of him as a Baptist until you said that. But
Oh yeah, no,
now that's just the automatic link in my head. They're
yeah, no,
they're just
he's
a
like the
they're
he's like the
country bumpkins, but they're not.
he's like this Bible thumping Baptist kid who is psychic, and he just wants to bury the Pines family because he fell in love with Mabel. Mabel rejected him, and now he just wants to destroy all of their lives. And he pops up in several different episodes, and he was like kind of the overarching bad guy for a little while until you meet everybody's actual favorite bad guy, Bill.
Mickey Mouse. That's not the answer. No.
Mickey is never the bad guy. You should know that.
Have you watched the new How to Not Draw Stan Pines?
No, I have, and that is hilarious.
I think again, and we're gonna touch on this a little bit later on, but
Yeah.
I feel like putting that in on a recent Disney ad, it's screaming that we're gonna get something new pretty soon from Gravity Falls. Whether it's
hopefully, well, we'll talk about it. We have so much other stuff to get through. God, I know episode 1 came out and we cursed a lot in that, but we've really been trying to dial it back a little bit, and it oh God, it hurts so much to bite my tongue sometimes and say like stuff instead of shit. Yeah, I love you too. Anyway, so you meet everybody's favorite villain in this entire show who comes back in a major way several times, Bill Cipher, who is a 2-dimensional nightmare god.
yeah, that's a good way of explaining it, and I don't want to spoil the rest for anybody, so I'm not sure if you want to keep going any more into it, but um, I kind of just want to touch on like favorite moments of the show or criticisms of the show. I just don't want to
Oh,
go.
no, let me finish up the stories a little bit, and then we'll get into
Okay,
our other
got
stuff.
it. Yeah.
So crazy stuff happens, and you're finding out some things that you find out towards almost the end of season 2 or like halfway through season 2, that Stanford Pines, Grunkle Stan, is not who he says he is. He's actually Stan Lee Pines. And his twin brother, sorry, I had a brain fart. His twin brother was caught in a different dimension, and he is the real Stanford Pines. And he has 6 fingers on each hand and is phenomenal and is voiced by J.K. Simmons, who
And is probably
uh
one of the main. I'm sorry to cut you off
no,
there,
you're
but
good.
he's one of the main turning point characters for the show because the whole time while he's not on screen through season 1 and basically half of season 2, he's the main source of all of the information that the Pines family is getting because of the
Oh yeah.
journals, and he's the author of
Oh,
these
we haven't even
journals.
talked about the journals yet.
No.
Oh yeah.
So
So
these journals unlock these kind of secrets about the town, whether it's where the gnomes hide out and how to defeat them, or the fact that a spaceship ran through the town and made this really nice, cool looking cliffside edge,
oh
and
yeah.
where the alien tech is in the town.
So we keep bouncing over everywhere because yay ADHD. Um, with regarding this story, but if you haven't watched Gravity Falls, pause this episode right now. It's okay. We can wait. We're just up on the internet at the moment.
We're patient.
Yeah, we're very patient. Go watch the entire series. It'll take you maybe about if you can sit down and watch several episodes at a clip, which you easily can because they're like 24 minutes long. You can get through this show in about a week.
Yeah, it seems like a fair benchmark
So
for an avid watcher. Yeah.
go watch Gravity Falls if you haven't. We'll wait, and all will be okay. So we'll just 1 second, and we're gonna let's see. We're just gonna wait, and did you watch it? Did you watch Gravity Falls?
Let's talk our favorite moments from Gravity Falls if you watched it.
Okay, now that you've watched Gravity Falls, yeah, let's talk our favorite moments about Gravity Falls because to end it, Bill Cipher comes into our reality. Get up. Um, he brings about Weird Mageddon, and I know getting into some of our favorite moments, That's my favorite moment. Oh my god, the ending of this show is perfect. Weird
I'd agree with you. A lot of that
Weird Mageddon is
is
so good.
it's so well done. It's very and the thing with Mageddon for me personally is they broke it up into 3 episodes.
4. It's 4
Oh,
episodes.
that they broke it up into 4 episodes. It feels like a movie.
Yes, it is.
If you watch just those 4 episodes by themselves,
You
you're
have
watching a cinematic movie.
you have the first Gravity Falls movie. It's like watching the last 3 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Sozin's Comet.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. That's definitely a good connection in terms of like
and
the feeling of it at that
the
point.
best thing is when it was released, I believe Weird Mageddon was released episodically. It wasn't
It
showed
was.
all at once. So you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next?
And the fact
my
that you're
God, what's
dealing
gonna
with
happen
cable
next?
at that point
Oh
too,
my
and you're waiting a
God.
week.
Yeah.
These kids can't handle waiting a week now.
No.
Imagine if that were to happen today.
I
That
can't-
wouldn't happen.
I can't wait a week. I'm watching on Max at the moment, Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Oh, Kite Man. I haven't watched it yet. You have to tell me about it later.
Oh, it's so good. But like they're doing that as it's like episodically that like I'm up to the most recent episode. I'm like, oh come on, I want to know what happens next.
Yeah, right.
So Weird Mageddon, and we'll get into some other episodes and other favorite moments. But Weird Mageddon is probably like my favorite moment in the entire show because it's everything that you want out of Gravity Falls. It's weird, it's kitschy, it's epic, it's got monsters that are fighting each other. You have kaiju beasts versus a robot built out of a shack by Fiddleford McGucket.
And speaking of McGucket, just to cut you off a little bit, and I know we're going into the finale for yours. My favorite moment and my favorite episode is actually kind of in the beginning of the series when
Is it the Loch Ness Monster episode?
it is the Loch Ness Monster episode. It is when McGucket is trying to reconnect with family, apparently.
What is that thing called? It was the
Gobble Walker.
Gobble Walker.
So he
Oh my god, it's Gobble Walker.
he's terrorizing Gravity Falls in this lake area with the Gobble Walker, which is basically Ellie, the Loch Ness Monster at this point.
Ellie?
I said Ellie, shut up. I know it's Nellie.
No, it's Nessie.
Whatever, shut up.
It's Nessie.
You
The
know what I
Loch
meant.
Ness Monster. Oh my
Nessie,
god. It's not like it's not like you were trying to compare Nessie to Champ up in Lake Champlain.
Anyway,
I like my cryptids, guys.
I had a brain fart. Okay,
Whatever.
let it go.
No, I'm not going to.
But anyway, getting back to the episode, right? We that it's still one of my favorites just because there was so many hints in the beginning of that episode and just so many hints leading to what the series would eventually be. It was kind of one of those moments for me watching it in real time when it was airing for the first time of like, oh, this is going to get really interesting really quick. And also
yeah.
to top off, it has one of my favorite vocal stems and one of my favorite jokes in there. My ex-wife misses me, but her aim's getting better. It's always one of like my favorite moments in the show because it's just such a stupid offhand comment, but it's absolutely hilarious.
Remind me when we get into talking about some like post Gravity Falls stuff with Alex Hirsch. That joke again because it does pop up somewhere else, which I think is hilarious.
Right.
But no, I agree with you. Like that episode is just great, and watching Dipper use disposable cameras,
and he's so determined.
Yes,
The freak of I
would
gotta
you
break
dare
the code.
call him Toby Determined?
The stream goes nowhere, Toby.
I knew it. Yeah, no, that episode is just phenomenal, and like
I feel like it's the precursor to the show because you get Dipper's hyperfixation and neuroticness and like I gotta catch this.
You get his ADHD.
You
seeing Dipper at a later age, I look at him like, oh my god, I was that like hyperfixated on so much stuff when I was a kid, and it makes sense now why.
And Mabel being there too to help out and just being the quirky sidekick to him and being not neurotypical because she's definitely not neurotypical, but she's just there to kind of egg him on and like challenge him a bit more in a way with like it's such a weird way that she does it because she's not like putting him down in a way. She
No,
was
she's egging him on like any other sibling would
right,
egg
exactly. It's
you
the
on.
sibling relationship.
And it's that like, you're not gonna do that because you're stupid.
And
When really in the
Susan
back of their mind, there's like, I hope they do it. I want to see their hopes and dreams just come
come
to fruition in every way possible. Because
right.
like I know that I don't know how you have your relationship with your brothers, or your siblings. My brother and I, we are, about 6.5 years apart from each other. And as we've gotten older, we definitely egg each other on, but in the best way possible because we know that we both are like, we want to see them succeed in every way possible, even though we're like, ribbing and joking each other
Oh,
to no
absolutely.
end.
Absolutely. And to keep tying in the family aspect to it, you also see Grunkle Stan's first real attempts to kind of, in the show speaking, be a little bit more human, be a little bit more connected to his family, other than being this con artist, this crime guy, this,
Yeah.
I'm going to sell knickknacks at the mystery shack and make my
Yeah.
quick buck. I'm going to.
It's not like you're trying to illegally sell pugs,
No, exactly.
and like run a pug running scheme. Like
But
he's seriously just saying there, it's like,
I just,
I want to go fishing with
my
my grand,
family,
yeah, my grand whatevers.
my grandnephew, yeah,
I think he
Grunkle's
called,
grandnephews.
I think he still calls them his
Grandnephew.
grandkids though.
It is a little weird because the whole Charmy, whatever. But
Yeah.
yes, you got to see Stan actually go out of his way for his family, which,
And he
again,
even
if
like
you've
makes them
watched
like the hats and everything, and that pops up later on. Like Mabel always has her fishing hat that has her name on it that Grunkle Stan made for her.
right, and again, I just keep saying it. If you've watched the show, if you've watched the entirety of the show can be found almost in this episode in terms of
Mm-hmm.
character motivations, character inspirations, and character reactions to things,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So as soon as Dipper and Mabel were like, yo, peace out, we're gonna go hunt the Gobblewalker, Stan was immediately distraught, disappointed, but ultimately he stuck around the lake and started terrorizing other people to have a family with, quote unquote. But he was there the whole time, just waiting for them to come back and be a part of the family that he
Oh
was
yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite episodes, and this one's just gonna be, well, I've got two episodes that I want to talk about because they're both fun because it's character growth on one character, who is an ancillary character as well for this one, which is Pacifica Northwest. So Pacifica in the show is this like super rich, haughty toddy, my family basically owns the town type of person. And the one episode that I want to talk about is the mini golf episode, which I think is just absolutely wonderful. That shows character growth for both um, Mabel and also Pacifica in that one. And who doesn't love an episode about mini golf and learning that there are actual mini golf ball people that run that entire establishment from the inside to make sure that like balls go into different areas, that like everything is kind of random, but if you, as Mabel, like uses stickers to get them to
Do what
do
she
her
wants.
bidding,
Right, yeah.
um
And even
they
the fact that like you get a little bit of the teenage drama into it, like just two girls, Pacifica, Mabel, that clearly are opposites in terms of personality,
Mhm.
background, upbringing, and just having those kind of personalities clash, even though they both want the same goal of quote unquote even being popular, being the best at their thing, right? Like, and for that episode, it was shown that Mabel's just really good at mini golf. She's always been really good at mini golf. Meanwhile, Pacifica's trained into it. She has Sergey, the trainer, come out of the fucking trunk of the car to come out and help them out. And during
Sergey.
the episode, it's just like it's such a clash of two completely different styles of personalities and characters, and that's also parts of why this show is so much fun.
Oh yeah, and then the other episode that I love, once again, has to do with Pacifica, is the lumberjack party episode, where the Northwests hold this like big party up in their
Oh
mansion,
yes, yes, that's a great episode where
and
Northwest.
and this like lumberjack ghost comes out to basically destroy all of the rich people in town, especially the Northwests. and it shows how Pacifica, even though she was raised to always listen to her parents and always like follow their parents, and like her dad has this like little bell that he rings to make sure that she does exactly what he wants.
Like freaking Pavloving her.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting. So to like see on the outside as I get older, I'm like, ugh. But seeing her break that mold and um go against her parents, and it was just a phenomenal episode. Like that, those are two of like my favorite episodes. I also just like the dynamic between Dipper and Pacifica like grow throughout the series. And in my mind, I as much as I want Dipper and Wendy to get together at some point, I know it's going to be Dipper and Pacifica.
And to kind of piggyback off of just this notion of like favorite interactions or favorite kind of connections, relationships in the show, I think my personal favorite outside of the Dipper Pacifica thing is Dipper and Zeus's relationship and
Ooh.
how much that is like the found brother kind of thing, right? Like, sure, Zeus is not nearly Dipper's age. Sure, Zeus is not nearly at the same intelligence level, I guess, as Dipper in a way. Not that he's not smart, but he's just
Oh yeah,
not that kind of analytical kind of thinker. He's more of a free
he's
spirit and
smart
has
in so
fun.
many other ways, because like you see him later on in the series just show his aptitude for stuff, but it's like in the, I don't want to say the dumbest ways possible, but like he's big into playing video games. He's very handy with like fixing stuff and whatnot that Dipper is not.
Right,
But
and they're
Dipper
perfect
like helps him with his like,
foils.
and yeah, Dipper helps him with his analytical skills, and Seuss helps Dipper with his social skills, because Seuss is 100% an extrovert in my book.
Pterodactyl bros.
Pterodactyl bros. Um
So let me just jump into this part real quick now. Um, and it's going to be hard for us to come up with, I think, unless you have another point for favorites. There is some criticism of Gravity Falls that I actually I stewed on this a little bit over the night or two, and actually
mhm.
kind of because it's hard for me to come up with
Yeah.
hard, honest critiques about this show because honestly, I just love it so much.
To
But
quote one of my favorite podcasts recently, it's plugging them, Hello Hyrule. If you don't listen to them, you should. They're a phenomenal podcast. And at the time of recording this, they are doing an entire season on The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And the one host for the show is saying like that A Link to the Past is 100% a 10 out of 10 game, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Criticizes it and says, "Yeah, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it." And that's how I kind of like feel with Gravity Falls with us. It's like 10 out of 10. It's a phenomenal show. It's damn near perfect.
I
But
I did end up thinking about this part in terms of criticizing the show. A lot of the show is centered around the question about who the author is of Gravity Falls,
mhm,
or who the author is of the journals that are inside Gravity Falls. I feel like some of the questions that we didn't get answered in the original series, stuff like why did the aliens even come to Gravity Falls? Why
mhm,
is the weirdness origin there?
mhm,
Why, like, there's so many different aspects to the town itself that leave so many questions that we don't get answered. And at one hand, I understand the criticism behind that, right? Because it's valid questioning of the world building. Like, how in the world did aliens even come to this place? Why is it this place that gets all these yeah, I can't speak today. Abnormalities.
abnormalities.
That word, yes, abnormalities, and just trying to um put a reason behind it, right?
Yeah,
So I get it in that aspect, but also watching the show, that's not what the point of the show is. The point of Gravity Falls is to embrace who you are as an
mhm,
individual, regardless of who that is, and being tight with your family, regardless of the things that happened in the past, things that are going to happen in the future. Family is an accessory. I can't speak today. Is an unbreakable link.
yeah. The only other criticism that I could think of for this show, when it came out, shows were becoming more inclusive for a lot of different
Yes,
things,
yes.
of like kind of showing a lot of different cultures and a lot of different aspects of people. While the Gravity Falls, um, I'll come out and just say is whitewashed a lot. There aren't a lot of
I think in the whole entirety of the series, you see maybe 2 black characters. maybe.
Yeah, you see like, or it may be like three, or maybe like three or four, because
Because I remember Blubs, obviously.
there's
Blubs
Blubs,
and Deputy Durland
there's
and
Head and Chin.
oh right, Head and Chin. I forgot about Head and
You have
Chin.
Head and Chin, and I think a couple of the other inmates.
And a couple of the CIA
Yep,
people that show up.
yep. Um,
And also the
and
fact that they
I
had a
think I think Dolph or Lulf might be black, but there wasn't as much representation as there could have been in the show. It is
and
very whitewashed. Like, all of the main characters are white. Like you said, there are very little black characters. There's and
barely any other kind of races there,
yeah,
really, for the most part. And then just
outside of
to
like random creatures.
yeah, exactly. And just to pile on top of the lack of inclusion, and I don't think it's because of Alex Hirsch. I think it's because of Disney. Let's make that
Hmm.
kind of perfectly clear. You know, when you sell your show to a network like that, it
You're selling
becomes
your soul.
it becomes their territory for better or worse. Alex Hirsch had a unique ability with this show to kind of curb a lot of that kind of, you know, I have to push the weird. I have to push the stuff that I need to push,
Hmm.
right? The two things that I say were hindered because of Disney was exactly what you're talking about, the whole whitewashing aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it, even though we do get a gay couple in the show, it
Hmm.
is not nearly talked about enough. It is not nearly addressed enough. And
Hmm.
basically, to the point of everybody that's ever watched the show, you knew from the beginning when you saw Dubs and or Blubs and Durland on
Yep.
in their patrol car that they were a thing,
a
right?
100%.
And not to spoil what we're going to get into in a little bit, but in Book of Bill, you kind of figure out that there was a situationship a bit going on between Bill and Stanford,
Hmm.
and there's just, you know, not to say that Disney kind of booted them out from being like, hey, you can't be outwardly gay on our network. That's just not going to
Yeah,
happen.
there really wasn't any inclusion of anybody from the LGBTQ community.
But I
Um,
think Alex did what he could, right?
yes,
And I
and I
think
think
that's kind of the saving grace behind.
he did it in a phenomenal way. Like, 100%, this is a great show. It's 10 out of 10. I wouldn't change anything about it.
No, I want to change about. I again maybe more inclusion, but I want to change that for the show to be better. I think the show is fine as is in
Oh,
terms of
100%.
what was written, what the story was about, how
Yes.
the animation was done, how the voice actors committed to it. Again, it was just different time, different place. You're running by Disney rules, and Disney wasn't having that. And now look at Disney doing all their rainbow colors for LGBTQ months and trying to
Hmm.
support, quote unquote, support them. And
Hey, they turned against the entire state of Florida, just being like, you know what? Gay.
basically, and you know what? I feel like that's a big step for Disney as a company, but I also feel like that's just kind of how corporations have to be right now because they're realizing that a lot of these communities are starting to become more and more apparent, and those are the people that are watching their shows, buying their merch,
Hmm.
going to the theme parks, right? So you have to acquiesce a little bit, and you have to get rid of that old school mentality of, there's no gay here, there's no black here. Like, no, that's
You
not
know,
how the world
it's
works
everywhere.
anymore. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
It is 2024. There are gay people. There are black people. Do not be shocked.
there there's people of everything. Um, so moving on just a little bit, from Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls eventually ends after its two seasons. I think it ran from what, 2012 to like 2014, 2015.
That sounds about right in
Ran
my
for
head.
like
Yeah.
two. They ran for like 2 or 3 years.
But you
Um,
got a lot of content from Gravity Falls post the show's ending. You got a lot of comic books that tried to continue the story,
well, you
in
only
terms
get like only a few comic books that are
canon,
canon to the story, and there are only 3 books that are written by Alex Hirsch.
right? And we're gonna
Um,
kind of get into
that
that now.
yeah, that like happened after Gravity Falls, because once Alex was done with Gravity Falls, Disney was like, "You want to do more?" And he's like, "I told the story."
And
No.
in case for people who don't really know the quote unquote Disney rule, especially back then, when you got picked up for a show by Disney, it was almost automatically expected that you were going to write 3 seasons of your show and be
Yep.
done,
Hmm.
right? And that was just A lot of standard animation practice then, it was either 3 or 5 seasons, however you wanted to look at it, but people would buy your show and say, "Hey, this is your allotment." Alex Hirsch went and said, "I'm gonna do 2.
He was like,
This
"I'm
is
gonna
my
tell."
story."
He's like, "I'm gonna tell my story, and then I'm gonna be done, and that's it."
And the
And he
beautiful
told his
part
story, and he was done.
and the beautiful part about something like that and Alex's triumph of that, right? It's such a I'm trying to think of the right word here, but something that happens in some shows, like if you're a fan of Steven Universe, the ending feels incredibly rushed because at that time she wasn't sure if she was going to get picked up again and had to force a lot of the
Owl House.
Owl House too, where you had to close out a lot of these early storylines and try and it feels rushed at the end. It feels like you missed out on so many other little specific details that make that story better.
Mhm.
Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch, for his credit, he told his story in 2 seasons.
And then he was
And
done.
I feel like everybody universally says, and especially at the time that the season was done,
Mhm.
you didn't have to do anymore. You
No.
can. You can milk the money wagon, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
But you
but
don't
he
have
didn't.
to.
He didn't, and he did his stuff and then was done, and then came back to do a couple add-on things, and one of them came out most recently. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but,
Let's talk about
um,
the books. Let's talk
yeah,
about book 3, journal 3,
so
how
the first 2 books that he came out with were, Journal 3, which is exactly what you think it is. It's Journal 3 from the show, written by Alex Hirsch. It has all of the little notes, it has all of the stuff. I think it even has some of the blacklight in it too.
yes, it does have the blacklight tricks to it. It has a message from Dipper. If you guys read Journal 3, you also notice at some point it feels like the pages are discontinued and you don't have anything to go off of. It's like ripped out.
Yep.
Um,
Well, that's because in the actual show, those pages were ripped out.
Absolutely. So Alex Hirsch just playing along with this continuity, playing along with the people that are like him and really wanted to dive into the conspiracy theories, really wanted to dive into the mysteries of Gravity Falls, read these books, pick up as much of this information as possible.
Mhm.
And he kept it consistent throughout the whole time and he's keeping it consistent now, even with the new stuff that he's putting out
Oh, yeah.
there. It's
It's phenomenal, and then the
anything Alex Hirsch touches, you can clearly tell
es
Alex Hirsch is involved.
especially connected to an IP that he absolutely loves. Like, I know that he loves Gravity Falls with his whole heart.
I know he
Um
loves Owl House with his whole
Oh,
heart. I
yeah.
know he loved Inside Job with his whole heart, but there's so many things now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. And then the other book that came out that he had little touches and helped work on, was Gravity Falls: The Lost Legends,
now is
which
that canon?
I believe that is canon.
Okay, I just wanted to put that in my head. I
I would
wasn't
say
sure.
it came out from Disney. It was, touched by Alex Hirsch, not that way. Or maybe that way, depending on how you feel.
I mean, the Book of Bill lets you summon Bill by putting your hand on the book, so there has to be some kind of touching, right?
Oh, we'll get into that in a moment. But the Lost Legends tells some like stories that you wanted to tie off in the end. Oh my gosh, I forgot about something that I'll cut back to for one of my favorite moments.
Okay.
Um, and it kind of like ties in a couple more stories about specific characters. And it's told as like if you were sitting around a campfire style. Um, but it's told by one of the most underrated characters in the entire show, and that is Schmebulok.
Schmebulok.
The entire book is told from Schmebulok. That if you've watched the show, Schmebulok can only say Schmebulok. He can only say his name. He's like a Pokemon. But in this book, it is told that once a year he is given like his curse is lifted and he can speak normally. So he tells these stories to whoever is writing them down. Like it's written as if it was an episode, essentially.
That
And
I always forget about this, and I forget that this book even exists. But it is so cool, and it's
it's
funny just to.
phenomenal. I need
It,
to go back and reread it because it's been a long time since I've read it. Like I think I read it when it first came out, and I've forgotten so much about it.
It's just so funny that Alex Hirsch chooses what essentially is a nonverbal character to continue the story.
Oh yeah,
And again, just the ironicness of Alex Hirsch is just beyond reproof.
And
Hirsch.
another thing that I want to talk about, Alex Hirsch, that ties back in real quick. We're gonna go back to talking about Gravity Falls for 2 more seconds. Um, is Summerween.
Yes, this idea of
Summerween
Summerween, and it's
of
actually becoming a thing.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna get into. Of how they did an entire episode, a Halloween episode in the summer known as Summerween. Um,
Also, one
with
of the weirdest villains in
it,
that episode.
one of the most terrifying villains in the entire series.
You really think that's the most terrifying? I think that one was honestly, and this might
It,
just be my opinion, and it probably is just my opinion. I thought that was like the hokiest of the characters.
he was hokey, but at the same time, being eaten by all of the discarded candy because nobody else would eat it
Oh yeah, sure.
is terrifying.
The premise is horrifying. I'm more horrified at when all the gnomes can connect and make one giant gnome.
Oh,
That
in episode
horrifies
one.
me more than the Candyman over here.
I mean, then there's also, the one gnome in his squirrel bath.
That's just creepy. Honestly, it's funny.
But yeah, going to talking about Summerween for 2 seconds. How this Halloween episode came up in the middle of the summer, and so instead of carving jack-o'-lanterns out of pumpkins, they carve jack-o'-lanterns out of watermelons. And it's this whole idea that this town loves Halloween so much that they do it twice a year. And with how much creepy things and spoopy season is like year round to a lot of us in real life, that Summerween has become an actual thing. And I've been talking with my brother, hopefully next summer, that we'll be able to throw a Summerween party in his neighborhood because he has a bunch of neighbors that love that concept too.
And it's not just your local neighborhood too. You're
Oh yeah,
seeing
no.
it everywhere
hmm
where some of these closer knit communities are saying, why not? Let's do it. Let's avoid having this happen during the fall. Let's avoid trunk or treating.
Hey,
Everybody's home anyway during the summer for the most part.
trunk or treating's perfectly fine. And
Not drunk.
no, I said trunk.
Okay,
I said trunk.
I was making sure.
No. Drunk or treating is completely different. That's in college.
And that's bad.
Dep-
Ish.
I would say it depends on if your dorm is into it or not. Um, but this idea of of something that started off as a joke in a kids show that came out in 2013 is becoming a viable thing 10 years later, and it's really sorry you're editing this. It's really cool.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. And I'm sure that this was just one of those like Alex Hirsch random ideas in the writer's room and was just like, hey, what if we did summer during the July month?
You mean Halloween during the June month, or was it July?
It was July, and I totally said the wrong thing.
Yeah, you said
Halloween. If we did summer,
let's do summer in the July month. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, buddy.
it does, because summer is, in fact, in July.
I'm gonna slap you.
You act like you haven't before.
I know, but you don't like to be touched like that.
No, I don't. Anyway, let's get back to the point here.
So let's get back to the point. Yeah. So the third book that Alex Hirsch created for Gravity Falls, which is also the most recent book, and
Horrifying.
as I'm looking at the book right now, there is a disclaimer on the cover of the book that says "Travelers to Dimensions meant for older readers." So this is not a kid's book. Like, it is a kid's book, but this is not a kid's book.
No, absolutely.
And this is the book of Bill.
This is the book of Bill. This is the book where we start to get a lot more unraveling secrets. This is more of a little bit more of a fun poking at an audience that watched this show 10 years ago and is now getting back into the revival of it and starting to, and I'm sure people have seen it on TikTok of people going on the website that the book gives you, reading the book, talking about the book, talking about things that they found out about the show. Things.
Like just trying to find all of the little hidden codes and trying to understand it. Like,
I kid you not, when I first got the book and first found the website, right? And it was part of the countdown before it went to the clock or before it went to the computer. But with Seuss being there as the mechanical engineer to try and get the site up and running was really funny because people figured it out right away of like, oh, this is a gag. let's see what happens. We type the website into the URL, and it's just Zeus standing there trying to quote unquote fix the problem. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden, it turned into a real viable website. And to mention, it's Stan's old workplace. It is literally Stan's old desk and work style and workspace, and the computers there.
No, no, it's
And
not Stan. It's Ford's.
it's Stanford.
But
Whatever. You know what I meant.
when you say Stan, I think of Grunkle Stan. I don't think of
Okay.
Grunkle Ford.
Okay, fine. So it's Ford's old setup. It's
Thank
Ford's
you.
old desktop and stuff like that. And where people have been having a lot of fun recently is typing in codes into this computer. I kid you not. When I was at Steve's house the other day, I was sitting there typing in codes for at least 20 minutes.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
when
we
I
were just
first
having
saw
so
the
much
site
fun.
and when we first saw the code, I probably was also another 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour of just typing in all of the references that I could think about with Gravity Falls and see just what would generate. And
Or
there's so
even just
much.
some of like the real world stuff. Like if you type in Weird Al has a video.
Yeah, Weird Al's got a video. I forget the guy's name who used to help crack the Gravity Falls codes, but they got him involved in
Yep.
it.
Hmm.
I forget. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting the name now, but Mad Cat, something like
I
that.
don't remember off the top of my
Something
head.
like that, right? But they got involved. Alex Hirsch got him involved to try and help out.
I mean, there's so many different references.
The
So
fact that you type in Fortnite and it tells you life expectancy short and gas will start to come out or something like that, and again, it's just super. Oh, the other fun. I know Alex had to do this in real time to add it into the website, but when you type in gun or any reference to Chicago, you're gonna get oh yes, so yes, so yes, so yes, and it's just been such a TikTok trend to add that song from the musical Chicago into
mhm.
that show because it just fits and it makes sense. So Alex Hirsch is actively seeing what the fans are doing, and he's just kind of smiling, laughing along. And he's already said this that we're just scratching the surface of what's in this book. We're not even
Yes.
close to what's done.
No.
We're
Like,
not even there yet.
so the Book of Bill is all about Bill Cipher. So at the end of the series, spoiler alert, um, the Pines family defeats Bill by essentially killing him
In the
and
mind space.
in the mind space, which is um in your mind, you have to invite him in. And so they Bill gets invited into what he thinks is Stanford's mind, but it's Stan Lee's mind. And
I
Stan
do a pretty good impression of my brother, huh?
and so Stan Lee gets his memory wiped, which kills Bill. They do get Stanley's memories back, which is phenomenal. I don't know how.
Again, that's another one of those little
It's through
criticisms of the
it's through
show
the
where
power of love.
through the power of love and suggestion and photos, and it's all a real part of triggering that memory again.
Mhm.
And Waddle's licking him and make like that was the first initial spark of like you annoying pig kind of thing.
Yeah,
But at the same point, like yeah, I can understand that being a major criticism of the show, like how to just flipping through a scrapbook revive all of his memories. It
yeah.
doesn't seem like it would be logical, but it's a cartoon, guys. Guess what? It doesn't have to always make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense.
It
So
doesn't
the Book
always.
of Bill takes place after the show of um Bill trying to make a deal with the reader to come back into our world. And basically like telling his backstories, telling some stories about cryptids, telling other things about like the history of why he was trying why he was trying to get into Gravity Falls to begin with and all of that stuff. And
And it's
it's
so
wonderful. This
the fun part. And again, I spoke about this actually, ironically, to a student today because he stopped me in the hallway to talk about this. Which again, I don't understand why a high schooler is reading this, but that's neither here or there. But anyway, we're gonna just kind of with the Book of Bill. What they're doing and what Alex Hirsch is specifically doing is something that a lot of superhero movies do. And I know this is going to come out of left field, but we're going to sympathize with our victim. We're going to sympathize with our villain. we start to get a little bit more sympathetic towards Bill because as you
Hmm.
read this book, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
spoiler alerts here a little bit here. As you read this book, you find out that the whole reason that Bill, in our mind, snapped, right, and is just off the rails and crazy and, just not humane,
Hmm.
which obviously makes sense, but he was trying to show his 2D world, the 3D world.
Yeah.
It's such a sad thing, and
And
him and his doing this.
they just couldn't grasp the concept. They couldn't understand it. And Bill is just like, there's a third dimension.
And in doing so and trying to showcase it and trying to tell them
He destroys his own world.
all of it,
Yeah.
he is the lone, almost Doctor Who like, in the sense that he's the last one of his kind.
There are several more Time Lords out there.
You know what I mean, though. Like in the grand scheme of things, and this is way off topic, but in the Doctor Who universe, he sees himself as the only Time Lord left. He sees
Yes.
himself as the only Gallifreyan
Yes.
left, right? And that's what
Um,
we're going to start getting with Bill now. He's the only Euclid, I think, is the
I
world
think
name.
I think that's what it
He,
was
he
called.
he's the only one left.
Yeah.
He's the one. He's the promise of a new world for somebody.
And with all of his trying to introduce a third dimension to his 2D world, he goes insane and destroys his own world. And as he quotes in the book, where he's like, I try to remember this, but my brain just redacts it. And it's just like, oh my God, Bill. Um,
So, just to kind of wrap things up, because usually our podcasts are a little shorter, but we're already almost at an hour and a half, which is amazing enough.
oh God.
Um, just to talk a little bit about, and obviously not another plug, but Barnes and Noble says the Book of Bill, Amazon has the Book of Bill. There are three different versions of the Book of Bill. The Barnes and Noble version actually has the missing pages from Journal 3, which is actually a kind of a nice little thing to get in that set. But a lot of fans have gotten this book and gone on social medias and went, "Oh, we are getting season 3." So, here's where I'm going to ask you, what do you think is the future of the Gravity Falls universe? Do we in fact get a third season? Do we get a movie? Do we get a video game? Do we get a comic book series? Where do you fall on this? Because I've heard so many speculatory things
Do you
online.
want the answer that what I think is going to happen, or do you want my answer of what I want to happen?
Start off with the want to happen, then transition into what you think is actually going to happen.
Okay, what I want to happen is I would love to have a Gravity Falls video game. And
Yeah,
like I want to be able to play as a continuation of the story with Dipper and Mabel in high school. That it doesn't take place immediately afterwards. It's like a slightly older, but not like too much older. It's not like college Dipper.
I can almost see it like, it's a time skip of 3 years and they have to come back to Gravity Falls because Stanford and Stan Lee came back and naturally was like, "Come by for a visit."
It's
Very
either like
cryptically.
it's like either a come by for a visit, or as in like the one episode where Stan or Ford's trying to get Dipper's attention, where he's like, "Ah, Dipper, I'm on fire!" Where he like sends like both of them send out like this massive cryptic message, and it's like, "No, we just wanted you to come here so we could say hi."
Right? Like, but I could imagine that video game being so fun, especially if it's some kind of like open world concept and you
Oh
guys get
yeah,
to
and you get
actually
to like
actively explore as these different
gravity. Yes, and you
characters.
get to see Gravity Falls depending on which character that you get to play. Similar to like Baldur's Gate or something like that, how you have like massively different stories depending on your character that interweave. Like it would be beautiful, and I think it would be cool to do it in like the hand drawn 2D style.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be so much fun.
like it would be amazing. Like if you ever played the Stick of Truth or the Fractured Butthole, um, like how those games were done in the style of South Park. I would love this game to be done in the style of Gravity Falls. Like it's that 2D hand drawn style. And it would just be so much fun. And you
The
could
scenery in those shots would be like kind of epic.
like I want to be able to play as Dipper, who doesn't have a lot of like physicality they could do, but he's got like Journal 3 or even Journal 4 that he's written
Right.
as like your weapon. You have Mabel who has the grappling gun and is able to like bounce around from place to place.
Grappling hook.
Like Batman essentially, and like she's the physical one where she's like, I'm gonna fix everything with my fists. Where you could play as Seuss, who is now the owner and proprietor of the Mystery Shack, where he's not as shisty as like Stan was, but like you have all of like the Mystery Shack, and he has all of his tools from his tool belt to use. You could play as Wendy, and she like runs around as like your barbarian style, where she can just soak up all of the damage. And you could also play as Stan and Ford, and they have their own like you be able to play as all these different characters, and then you have a second campaign of where you get to play as Bill, and he comes back,
That would be
and it would be
crazy.
bonkers.
That would be epic. So let me ask the real question. What do you actually think is going to happen?
I think it's gonna be a movie because Alex Hirsch has said that.
And I'll you spoiled my point a little bit, but I'm right on board with you, man. I think this is turning into a feature length film. I think so many people
Yes.
are missing out on, oh, we're gonna get season 3. You can check IMDb. It says there's an untitled Alex Hirsch project as a TV series. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a movie first. And the show that actually kind of this model fits is my other favorite show from that time period, Steven Universe. They
Yes.
also came out with a movie after a brief hiatus from their show to only then come out with a spin-off show.
Yeah.
So what do I go ahead?
I think it's gonna I think it's gonna be a movie, and I think they're gonna let Alex cook, and I think they're gonna do
I hope they let Alex cook.
like I don't want this like a direct to Disney Plus movie.
And I think that was his worry too. I think you were you were getting into that before too. Of
yeah,
like,
and it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be an actual theatrical release. Like he's gonna have his like $100 million budget for the film and do an animated film of.
I honestly think he might need more than 100 mil, but you are right.
Well, that's what he said like in whatever like
Yeah.
TikTok thing. He's like, yeah, no, if I'm gonna do a movie, I want to do it right.
Right, and again, for as much of the fan base is coming back and drawing into this, and as much as people want to see it, I think it's going to happen. I think at
so.
some point in the not too distant future, we are going to get ourselves a Gravity Falls movie where Bill has returned, that we get a little time skip, we get to see Dipper and Mabel. Maybe they're, I don't know, second year in college, something like that.
I would say
where,
even just like late high school.
even something like that.
Because
too.
then you can have Wendy in college, you can have Seuss and oh god, what's his girlfriend's name?
Oh my god, not Giffany, that's for sure.
No, it's not Giffany. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
How maybe what brings them back is them getting married at Gravity Falls, and that's the catalyst for Bill to come back. Like there's something with that.
Yeah, maybe Blendon comes by to support, and that's how he kind of sneaks his way in. There could be a way like that where he did it in the original series again to pay a little homage to that. But again, I'm not going to write Alex's movie for him. He will do a much better job than I do.
Though, Alex, if you want help with your movie, if you are going to be working on it, please reach out to Rob. I have nothing to do with this stuff.
Oh, you're creative.
Far from it. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a movie, and I hope that it's going to be a movie. I just hope that we do get more Gravity Falls stuff outside of like the books and everything, because I think that it's something that the fans are calling for.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm just going to throw my last 2 cents on this topic real quick. Again, I seriously think they are going to fall into the Steven Universe model where we're going to produce a movie. It's going to hit. It's going to be something that a lot of people really enjoy and almost clamor / demand some kind of extension of the original series or a spin-off of the series where maybe it's Dipper has grown into Ford's shoes and now is the sole person defending Gravity Falls from the abnormalities or something like that. But either way, it's kind of I see the path that it could end up being that.
Like a lot of a lot of the fans can see the path of where it could go and where they think that it should, but only Alex can guide it forward. And just to tie back everything to how we started this episode, what we were talking about, this entire episode is about Alex Hirsch. And
Seriously, and we can't thank
we
Alex
can't
enough.
Yeah, you are a beautiful human being. We absolutely love you. Please keep doing what you're doing. Like, please help with all of the other shows, how you did Owl House, how
And we didn't
you've
even
done.
really get to cover a lot of the
Oh,
other
yeah.
stuff that he did. So, and just, Dana
I
Terrace,
mean,
the
hell,
person who created Owl.
we could have done this as 2 episodes if we really wanted to.
No, we definitely could have. Just with the amount of contributions that this man has made to the animation industry is just
And
literally insane.
who knows? Maybe we'll revisit this topic.
Absolutely, guys. So, thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on all of our social medias. We are on X, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok. Please find us. We are streaming on Spotify. We are streaming on Apple. We are still working on streaming on Amazon. Hopefully, we'll get there soon enough. My name is Rob.
And I am Steve.
Thank you for joining us once again. And thank you for tuning in to the ADHD Podcast.